car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we've got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
Hello and welcome to the Frontier Motor Show. My name is Iven, owner of Frontier Motors, and for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be talking about cars, what's going on in the car industry, and what's going on in the Pensacola area, and also what's going on at Frontier Motors. So thanks for tuning in, and I want everybody to know with this coronavirus epidemic that we're in, that car sales are an essential business, which means that we are open for business. So for those few of you out there that have to have a car because perhaps your car got totaled, or maybe the engine blew up and you don't want to spend any more money on that old rust bucket, and it's time to upgrade, we are open for business. Also advertising that we will bring a car to your doorstep and also deliver the car. If you want to buy it online, we can bring it right to your doorstep, including paperwork, so you don't have to leave your house if you don't want to. But physically at 230 Beverly Parkway, Frontier Motors is open for business. We do have salespeople standing by, and we do have a very good inventory, lots of quality cars, lots of nice trade-ins. So we have anywhere from cars that are $5,000 all the way up to $125,000, depending on what you're looking for. The nice thing about Frontier Motors, it's almost like going to a car show because we have every make and model. So if you're in the market for perhaps even a brand new car, you'd stop in at Frontier Motors because we have cars that are 2020 models and 2019 models. So if you're not sure what new car you're going to buy, wouldn't it be great to go to one dealer that has them all? That way, if you got it narrowed down to, let's say, 7 or 8 cars, for example, if you're looking for a mid-size sport utility car, we've got the Cadillac SRX XT5, we've got the Mazda CX-9, we've got the Ford Explorer, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, we have the Lexus version, the Infiniti, the BMW, the Audi. We have got them all right there, and they're virtually brand new. Even if you're going to buy a brand new car, instead of going to the Audi dealership and then going to BMW and then going over to Mobile to look at an Infiniti or a Lexus, we have them all right there. And sometimes you will be amazed the way that we stay in business is by showing you how much you can save if you purchase a car that maybe is 6 months old or maybe a year old. Consumer Reports last year finally put in writing what I've been talking about for 23 years. They came out with a graph and said, the first year alone, on the average, you lose $9,200 on a car. In other words, if you bought a brand new car today and next year you decided, I've got to get rid of it, I'm going to do Dave Ramsey thing and I want to get out of debt. I would rather have that money in my pocket than driving it around, having it depreciate. They say that $9,200 is the first year depreciation, how much you're going to lose if you bought the car brand new. So what that means, if you're buying that car used, you're going to save not $9,200, but you're going to save somewhere between $5,000 to $7,000 on a 1-year-old car. And I think that's a lot of money. Don't forget, if you're paying $7,000 less, you're also saving 7% taxes on that $7,000, which is about another $500. Our fees buying used, normally new car dealerships charge more fees. So you can save $200 or $300 there. And what if I paid more money for the trade-in than the new car dealer is? And people say, well, why would you pay more money for the trade-in? Because we sell all makes and models. And because we don't have a mausoleum, we don't have a multi-million-dollar facility, I can stay in business without having to mark my cars up as much as some new car dealers based on their overhead. And that makes a big difference when it comes down to your bottom line. And that's one of the things that we specialize with at Frontier Motors. I'd mentioned Dave Ramsey, and I always bring a commercial. He does a commercial for us. It was kind of interesting. About 13 or 14 years ago, Dave Ramsey came to us and said, hey, I will pick one dealer in the Pensacola area that I will do a commercial for, and I pick you. We didn't ask him to do a commercial for us. He did one for nothing. And he does such a good job and recommends us. And you have to have certain criteria to be on his list of dealers. And we hit them all, especially being recommended by the Better Business Bureau, having no complaints, being in business for a certain amount, and has to be a used car business because he doesn't recommend new cars because of what I just said before. The depreciation on a new car is staggering, and he's all about saving money. Let's see what Dave has to say.
Hey, Dave Ramsey here. When you need a quality pre-owned vehicle, I'm happy to be recommending a dealer that still does it the old-fashioned way, where relationship is formed from face-to-face contact, where a handshake still means something. For 22 years, my friends at Frontier Motors have been helping the Pensacola community with their transportation needs, but they do so much more. They are the go-to dealer for free advice, free appraisals, free Carfax reports, and free total loss and diminished value reports. Any car buying questions, see Frontier Motors. 70% of their customers are repeat or referrals. It's unheard of in the used car industry. I'm talking no pushy salesman, no pressure selling, always an out-the-door price in writing, and no mausoleum, high overhead showroom. Just 400 of the nicest used cars you'll ever see. Check out Frontier Motors, and don't forget to tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Dave does a really good job talking about Frontier Motors in 60 seconds, what takes me hours and hours to say. He gets right down to the heart of it. You know, he talked about where a handshake is still means something, and now they're telling you not to shake hands, so we're just going to have to bump elbows, I guess. Hopefully this will not go on. I wonder if people will get back to shaking hands when this whole coronavirus program is over with. I'm just still wondering about that, if that's how you can spread any type of virus, I guess. We talk about a little bit what's going on in the industry, and they just came out with the Consumer Reports Best Brand Rating. And it's really interesting to me because we sell all makes and models. So, you know, obviously if you are a Porsche dealer, you're going to do backflips because Consumer Reports just announced that Porsche is the #1 brand, all around brand. Now, when I say all around, we're not talking about just reliability because they have separate categories for just reliability, which I think is probably safety and reliability to me are more important than overall brand. Because when they say overall brand, they put a lot of emphasis on roadability. Now, what's roadability? Well, they're talking about how the car handles and S-turns, how the car slides to a stop, how fast it stops and things like that, how quiet it is, how nice it drives. I am more into the reliability than that. But when you consider the overall brand, I think it's a pretty good feather in their cap that Porsche is #1. Now, let's backtrack to 2018. I've got the 18 right here. Back in 18, it was Genesis. Genesis was #1. Audi was #2. BMW was #3. Lexus, and then Porsche. So Porsche in 2 years has jumped all the way to the top. Now, in 2019, the best overall brand was Subaru. Subaru, and then Genesis, and then Porsche. And then Audi, Lexus, and Mazda. Mazda was #6. 2020, current model year, Porsche, Genesis, Subaru, then Mazda. Who would have thought that Mazda would be above Lexus, above Hyundai, above Mercedes, above BMW, above Honda and Toyota? Mazda is a great car, and they're a bargain because I can buy a Mazda for a lot less money. Let's say a 2020 Mazda versus a 2020 Camry. I can buy a Mazda way cheaper because people don't know that they're such good cars. And because they still think they're not that good a car, I can buy them cheaper, just like Hyundai and Kia. There's still a perception out there that Hyundai and Kia are a bad car, and they're not. But the perception is still there, because I know that, because I have customers come in and say, I'm not buying no Hyundai. Well, why not? Well, you know, the crappy little cars. Yeah, they were 20-some years ago, not anymore. Hyundai is #6. Kia is #8. They're above Tesla, Toyota, Lincoln, Infiniti, Honda, Nissan. They're above all that. And they have some of the best warranty. Hyundai came out with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, but they don't tell you that's only the first owner. But they have a 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper, except for electronics. I learned that the hard way. I had a radio go out. I thought it was under warranty, and they wouldn't cover it. I didn't know that radios weren't covered. They talk about bumper to bumper, so sometimes I wonder about warranties. Bumper to bumper, everything's covered for 5 years up to 60,000, which is, by the way, the best warranty other than Volkswagen. In 18 and 19, Volkswagen had a 6-year, 70,000-mile warranty, 72,000-mile warranty. I'm very disappointed in Volkswagen because in 2020 they changed that. They went from 6 years back down to 4 years. Probably having too many warranty claims, I would assume, cost them too much money. But Kia, Hyundai, Genesis, Mitsubishi, Jag, all have a 5-year, 60,000 mile bumper to bumper. Remember, folks, on warranties, maintenance is not covered. I think even light bulbs aren't covered for the whole time. I had a light bulb go out on a car once, and I thought it was covered because I had a 5-year 60. Light bulbs were covered for like 1 year. Paint, a lot of people don't know that. Paint is not covered under the bumper warranty. Paint on most manufacturers have a 1-year warranty. So if you have paint peeling or flaking off, I guess what they're saying is that normally if it's a bad paint job, it's going to happen in 1 year. You're going to know in 1 year. Even the Toyota did have a couple that, about a decade ago, they had trucks that were peeling so bad that they ended up painting them for free. They also had a rust problem way back when, where they replaced truck frames for free. So sometimes it will go over and above the normal warranty. The 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty on Hyundai and Kia, by the way, is only for the first owner, but at Frontier Motors, all of our cars get a 10-year, 100,000 mile drivetrain warranty, just like the manufacturer. We put that on years ago to overcome when you would go to the Kia or the Hyundai dealership and they would say, well, yeah, but if you buy it from Frontier Motors, you're not going to get that 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty because it only goes to the first brand new owner. But if I could save you $5,000 on a 1-year-old car and give you that 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty, I think now I'm overcoming that. And that makes sense, and that's why our Hyundai and our Kia sales are at an all-time high, because I'm putting that warranty on, not just the Hyundai and Kia, I'm putting on everything we sell as long as it's not a modified vehicle. There are some exclusions for high-performance cars, like supercharged and turbocharged, but just about everything that we have, whether it be a Chevy, whether it be a Ford, whether it be a Honda, if you buy the car, it's a 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty that we put included in every sale from the date of the first sale. So if the car is 1 year old, you're getting 9 more years up to 100,000 miles on the odometer. If you're buying a 5-year-old car, you still get 5 more years up to 100,000 miles on the odometer. And I pay one fee and I cover the whole inventory. Makes it real simple. I do the same thing with Carfax. I run free Carfax reports for anybody. So if you're looking at your neighbor's car, if you're looking at maybe selling your car and you want to copy the Carfax, don't go and pay for $40, over $40 for a Carfax report. Just call us up with the ID number of whatever car you're either selling or looking at, and I will run the Carfax report for no charge. And I will also come up and tell you what that car should sell for. Because when I type the program in, it comes up with wholesale value, retail value, black book, NEDA, all the books you want, and reality. That's where I would kind of make fun of the books, because books are not reality. If a book says a certain car sells for $40,000 and I can buy that car at the auction for, let's say, $33,000, if it costs me a certain dollar amount to buy the car and to ship the car and to set up the car, get it detailed, change oil, and then put a medium profit on that car, if the book is 40, if I'm buying it for, let's say, 33, I could sell that car for 36 and still make money on it. So that $40,000 book value, which normally would be the Edmunds or the NEDA, is highly exaggerated. Every once in a while, the book is the opposite. An example is an old Wrangler. Let's say you got a 15-year-old Wrangler. The book is going to have that car depreciate down to where it has no book value, but they're still bringing top dollar. So if you use the book on that, you'd never buy one. Because a book might say it's worth $3,000, and an old Wrangler still sells for $5,000 and $6,000, if you can even find one in that price range. By the way, we do a good Wrangler business. We normally have somewhere between 5 and 10 Wranglers in stock. Talk about Frontier Motors for a little bit, folks. You know, I mentioned earlier that it's almost like coming to a car show when you come to Frontier Motors. When you go out in the car market, the salespeople that you meet in the new car lot are trained to tell you why their product is the best product out there. That's what they sell. So when you go to the Honda dealership, they have ammunition of why they have the best car. Let's use a Honda Civic, for example. Now you go across the street to the Toyota dealership, and their version of the Civic would be a Corolla. And that Corolla salesman has been to class to tell you why that Corolla is better than a Civic. And then if you go over to the Mazda dealership and you look at a Mazda 2 or a Mazda 3, they're going to tell you that Consumer Report says Mazda is a better car than the Honda and Toyota. That's what they sell, because that's all they have. At Frontier Motors, we sell all of those cars. So there's no pressure as far as my car is better than their car. You decide with the information that you can find online, how the car drives, how the car sits, how the car feels, the features that are on the particular car, the pricing of that particular car, of which car is a better car for you. You can do that in one location. The little cars I've described, there's a lot more cars like that out there in different makes and models. There's probably 30 of them, and we have them all. With almost a 400 car inventory, we have the ability to stock multiple makes and brands. And therefore, you meet one salesperson. You don't get that back and forth garbage that you see at a lot of these new car dealers. We give you the price in writing. Matter of fact, we have a price list that when you come on the lot, we can give you a price list of every car that we have out there. It'll tell you the miles on the car, because a lot of times you don't know how many miles are on the car because it has digital odometer. So we give you the miles. We give you a lot of the equipment that's already on that particular car. We tell you the book value and what we're asking for that car. And then within a matter of minutes, we can give you that out-the-door price that is so hard to get at most dealerships. You know the one, you know the price I'm talking about. The one where you say, okay, I like it. What's your best deal? Everybody asks that. What's the best deal? So what they're asking for is what type of a discount can you give me off your asking price? And more car dealerships are going to no discount. Well, a lot of people don't like that, no discount. You know, and that's one of the things, for example, CarMax. CarMax has opened up a store on 29. They are a non-discount dealership. In other words, what price you see advertised, that is the price. You don't get a free stripe. You don't get, if it doesn't have 2 sets of keys, you don't get 2 sets of keys unless they will put that in, but they don't deal on anything. When they give you a trade-in value, that's what it is. So if you say, well, hey, if you give me $500 more, I'll make a deal with you. That's not going to happen. And they advertise that that is the new way of doing business. But what if by negotiating a little bit, I can drop my price to make it a little bit better? And sometimes an appraisal is an opinion. So when you get that appraisal from that dealer that has the no haggle pricing, and you say, well, wait a minute, I looked in the book and I thought that book was like $4,000 more than what you're giving me. Well, I have the ability to say, well, what if I go a little bit more to make this deal? I don't like the back and forth, folks. Our claim to fame at Frontier Motors is giving you a fair price right off the bat. So I'm not saying that we're going to sit there and negotiate. But if you've got a nice trade-in, there's a possibility that I can give you a little bit more money for the car to make a deal. There's a possibility I can maybe, I'll throw in a full tank of gas and make sure the car's got 2 keys, make sure that you have an owner's manual. So this is what sets us apart versus the deal where it's all set in stone, you take it or leave it. And that's almost the attitude that some of these dealers that have one pricing have. Like, hey, you take it or leave it. That's how we do business. Well, for me, it's kind of easy to beat their deal if I know what their bottom line price is. All I have to do is give you if my price isn't better, just give you a nicer car. Give you a car with less miles on it. Give you a car with a better color. Give you a car with more equipment. Give you a car in better condition. You know the number one thing other than miles that makes a difference in the value of a car that you never see on pictures? It's not even equipment. It's condition. And when I go to the auction reports and I find out a car that's rated a 2, the auction rates cars from 0 to 5. You rate a car a 2 versus a 5, it can be as much as a $5,000 difference. That's a lot, isn't it? And that's why it's hard to shop online, because you can't tell the condition of the car until you look at it, because the pictures are always beautiful. You don't see the scratches and nicks. You don't smell anything on a picture. What if the car smelled like dog? What if this car smelled like smoke? Would you walk away? A lot of people would. So if you see one that smells great, no issues, versus one that stinks, would you pay a little bit more? Of course you would. What about mileage? Mileage makes a difference. Safety equipment. That's a big difference as far as I'm concerned. Now, we talked about depreciation. We talked about how the brands stack up. We talked about warranties. Let's talk about diminished value, what diminished value is. Have you ever had an accident with your car? And let's say that it was a moderate or a major accident. You've gotten it fixed. The insurance company has made you whole. The car looks absolutely gorgeous. They had used brand new parts. What does it do to the value of the car? Well, because of Carfax and history reports, not just Carfax, there are more than Carfax out there. You AutoCheck, there's a lot of different history reports. Carfax is the most, they advertise the most, they're the most popular, so I talk about Carfax reports. But when a Carfax report tells you that the car has been in an accident, I see the customer's attitude go in the toilet. Like, oh, it's been an accident. I don't want that car. Now, why is that? Well, one reason, because years ago, when the body shops put the cars back together, a lot of times they didn't do a very good job. So cars that had been in major accidents got a bad reputation because they just weren't fixed properly. I don't think it's deserved anymore. Most of the body shops out there, certified body shops, do a really good job. They got all kinds of laser machines and everything to make sure when that car gets back on the road, not only are they using brand new parts. I would think if they use brand new parts on a 5-year-old car, wouldn't that car be worth more? If your radiator is brand new, your air conditioner is brand new, let's say they had to put a new motor in the car because they had a front end accident, new frame in the front, everything's new, all new fenders, new hood, wouldn't it be worth more? No, it's worth less. And that's called diminished value. So if somebody runs a red light, T-bones your car, you have $10,000 of damage, the car has to be towed, that's all going to go on the Carfax report. Now you come into a dealership and you want to trade the car in 3 months later and they say, oh, this car has been in a bad accident. I'm going to have to give you a lot less money for it. Well, how much less? Well, it's going to be at least $3,000 less. That hurts you, doesn't it? So the insurance companies are now paying for diminished value. I don't think it's a law yet, but I have a lot of customers that I give letters of diminished value at no charge. So they come in, and it's an opinion, folks. It's not a formula I use. I just look at the car and I'm thinking, okay, I got to sell this car. How much less am I going to have to sell it for to get somebody interested in the car? I had a BMW, it was about a year and a half ago, that was a $50,000 BMW, had about $20,000 damage, fixed. It had Sandy Stancing BMW, fixed beautifully, the car was like brand new. But it had a diminished value of about $5,000 because people were scared of the car, even though it was still under factory warranty. So we put the car on consignment. I sold it for the lady that owned the car, but I sold that car for $5,000 less. And of course, at Frontier Motors, the Carfax report is in the glove box of every car. So we actually advertised, by the way, this BMW has been in a bad accident, but it was fixed at Sandy Stancing, it was fixed like brand new with brand new parts. Here's the paperwork. We sold that car very fast because it was a bargain, because the lady got the diminished value from her insurance company and she was able to sell the car for quite a bit less money. So we sold it for her, and that's called consignment. Consignment means you drop your car off, I sell it for you. The other thing we can do for you, by the way, is we can buy your car from you. I normally don't buy cars that have been in a wreck, especially if it's moderate or major. If it's minor, I don't worry about it. And now the Carfax reports will say that, minor, moderate, major, airbags deployed, not deployed. So now it's better than just saying accident. Where I get scared, if it just says accident reported, you don't know what happened. So I don't buy those cars, but we will consign those cars. We do advertise that we buy cars. I think a lot of dealerships buy cars, but a lot of dealerships try to take advantage of the general public. I've had a lot of customers come in and they were ticked off at a dealership that they went to because, let's say it was the make and model that they had. Let's just say hypothetically it was an Infiniti, and they go to the Infiniti dealership in Mobile and they get a low buy bid. And they're wondering, why is that buy bid so low? Well, because they're trying to steal the car from you. I'm not saying this happened at Infiniti. I'm using that as an example because they're probably not listening to the show. But we sell every make and model, and we're very fair. We buy between 5 to 15 cars every week from private individuals. The advantage for us is we get to test drive the cars and get them inspected rather than buying those cars at the auction. So we have an advantage. The advantage for you is we write you a check and you're done. So if it's a fair offer, you're just going to take it because you can cancel your insurance, you can invest the money. I heard this morning the stock market was up about 1,000 points already. I know it's a teeter-totter, but this morning was a good day. So if we would have give you $10,000, you could have invested it, you'd have $11,000 already. So as long as it's a fair offer and not a ripoff, and we can tell you how we got to the figure that we're giving you. We can show you what they're going for an auction. We'll normally pay a little bit more than auction prices because you're bringing us the car. Don't forget, if I buy one at the auction, I also have to pay for the shipping. I don't have to pay for shipping if you're bringing me the car. So a lot of times people are surprised, say, wow, that's not so much. And when I bid on cars, sometimes people underprice their cars because I know what the real value is. I've seen that happen before. So I'm able to purchase the car, give you full value for the car for what you feel the car is worth, and I can still sell it for a small profit. The nice thing about Frontier Motors being in small, when I say small, we started out small with 20 cars, now we have 400, but we started out with one lot. I bought Frontier Motors for $105,000 about 23 years ago. Not $1 million, not $10 million. And we did this on purpose rather than going to Car City because we wanted to keep the overhead as low as possible so I could put a profit on a car but still beat all the competition as far as the pricing based on what they had to make to stay in business. When you build a $30 million building, imagine the overhead. Even if you had the ability to pay cash, which most of them always will be financed, your insurance rates and your maintenance and your taxes are astronomical. Well, who pays for that? It's the person buying the cars from that particular dealership. So the way I always look at it is the prettier the dealer, the more you're going to pay. We are not a real pretty dealer, even though we have a very clean establishment, especially now with the coronavirus. We disinfect, we wipe everything down, we stay our distance. Everything's very, very clean. The dealership's been remodeled. We have new carpeting, new furniture, but very low overhead. That means a better deal for you. That means I can make a profit, stay in business, and still beat the competition. And with having over 80 dealers in Pensacola, just used car dealers alone, that means a lot. I think their last count, there was 21 new car dealers and 88 used. We're just one of them. We are the largest independent used car dealership in Florida. We have been for about 15 years now. And one reason is because of the way we treat our customers. The other reason is the pricing that we do. And the third, of course, is how clean the inventory is. You put that all together and a no-hassle approach where we give you a price in writing, taxes, doc fee, everything, circle it, give you the price. Say, if you want to go shop, go to the other dealers. We have to be very confident in our pricing when we give you a price that you're going to come back. So we already have done all the research to make sure we had the best deal before we even leave. 50% of our customers just come and buy the car because they bought from us before. 70% are repeat referrals. 50% have bought before. And they know we're going to give them a deal right off the bat. So there's none of this haggling going back and forth. We can show you how we get the price. We can show you how we give you your trade-in value. And we can give you that out-the-door figure. We've got 1 minute left, folks. You can watch this show on Facebook. You can go to YouTube and watch it also. If you know anybody that's looking for a car, tell them to go to Frontier Motors website or go to Frontier, just Google Frontier Motors and you're going to see this ugly mug right here. And you're going to be able to watch to see the services that we offer everybody. Almost 400 cars in inventory on our website. All of them have prices on there. At least 31 detailed photographs. Again, that's Frontier Motors. We will deliver the car to your doorstep if that's what you want through this coronavirus epidemic. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Looking for the best car, SUV, or truck? Guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we've got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.